Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, NFL 2019-2020, Week 1. Oh, football season is upon us. As you've already seen on Robert Sports Show, NCAA Week 1 is already over. Canadian CFL Week 13, Week 12, Week 12. It's done a couple weeks already. So because of Justin over at Bridgewater's Finest, I started doing some CFL this year. So it's going to be a very interesting fall doing CFL, NCAA, and NFL. Along with pro wrestling and NASCAR and everything. So kind of excited about that. The plan is next year, XFL, CFL, NFL, NCAA. We'll see how it goes. But alright, this is the third year on this channel for NFL here on Robert Sports Show. 2017, I was win-loss. I was 66%, against the spread 54%, over-under 53%. Last year, 2018, I was 61% win-loss, 46% against the spread, 52% on over-under. Including playoffs, since 2017, I was 57.5%. And then 2018, I was 52.8 overall, including playoffs. Hopefully I can get above 60, but we'll see what happens. We're going to dive right into Week 1, which begins Thursday. Alright, we have an NFC North matchup. We have the Green Bay Packers, led by Aaron Rodgers, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, versus the Bears, the Chicago Bears. Now last year, these two teams met twice. Chicago won one, Green Bay won one. In Chicago, the Bears won 24-17. Can Mitch Trubisky take the next step as a young, talented quarterback? Will Kelly Mack step up just like he did last year? Bears are favored by 3 at home. I am taking the Bears to win. They're going to cover that 3. Take it under on the 46.5. I think that Bears defense will be good enough to kind of control the ball a little bit for him. Next up, we have the AFC East. We have the Buffalo Bills versus the New York Jets. How is Le'Veon Bell going to do with a year off and he's back? I think there's a lot of players out there that are looking at Le'Veon Bell, how he doesn't get 1, 2, 3, etc. Will there be rust? Can he bring back the magic? Was it worth him sitting out? Is it going to be worth? Is that going to be the new thing? Well, just sit out a year and get traded or get paid. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Obviously, the toll that football takes, as we know, Andrew Luck retired at 29. Barry Sanders retired early. Calvin Johnson retired early. Is that the new thing? Is it the thing to sit out or retire? I mean, does somebody retire and take a couple years off and come back? Get to the game here. Last year in New York, Buffalo won 41-10. In Buffalo, the Jets won. So the road team wins. Well, because of that fact, which I could be way wrong on that, right now the Jets are favored by 3 at home. So the Jets favored by 3 with an over-under of 40.5. I'm going with the road thing here. The theme with these two teams last year. I'm taking the Bills on the road. I know, I'm retarded. Taking the Bills on the road, covering the 3, over in the 40.5. We'll see if my limb pick works. Next up, we have the Los Angeles Rams versus the Carolina Panthers. The last time these two teams played was in 2016. Carolina won. They played 3 years before that in 2013 when the Rams won. Both these teams are different now. Is Cam healthy? We all know what happened in week 3 of the preseason. We know what happened in the shoulder last year. LA is favored by 3. I think Todd Gurley, Jared Goff, they're going to take that next level. Todd Gurley, the highest paid running back in football right now. My number 1 fantasy pick. Hopefully that pays off for me. So we got the Rams winning, covering the 3, and under on the 50.5. It's all going to be Todd Gurley touchdowns. Hey, works for me. Next up, we have the Atlanta Falcons versus the Minnesota Vikings. So, I mean, the last time these two teams met was in 2017. The Vikings won 14-9. They are favored by 4 at home. An over-under 47.5. What Matt Ryan are we getting? Are we getting the Super Bowl winning Matt Ryan? Or are we getting another version of that? Kirk Cousins, is he going to bounce back? Because he had an off year last year. He paid a lot of money in Minnesota for that. So we'll see how that's going to work out in Minnesota. I'm taking the Vikings. I got them winning, covering the 4, under on the 47.5. Next up, NFC East matchup, the Washington Redskins versus the Philadelphia Eagles. Last year, Philly won both games. In Washington, they won 24-0. In Philly, they won 28-13. Washington, I mean, it just, I mean, it's Washington. I mean, their quarterback position, it's like, come on. I mean, we'll see what happens. Is Dwayne Haskins the next big thing? We'll see. But I am taking Philadelphia to win. I think Carson Wentz is going to be able to run this team. Got Eagles favored by 9. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 45.5. Next up, Tennessee Titans versus the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland is favored at home by 5.5. I gotta do it. I got to. Odell Beckham, Baker Mayfield in his second full season. They got weapons. They got a defense that's good. Cleveland winning, covering the 5.5 and under on the 45.5. I know some of you other ones out there are going to be doing that as well. Next up, I'm torn on this game. You know what? Kansas City Chiefs versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Last year, October of 18, they faced off. Kansas City won 30-14. Kansas City is favored by 4 on the road. Here's why I'm torn about it. I'm a huge pro wrestling fan. Y'all know I'm a big pro wrestling fan. Shaka Khan and his son Tony Khan own AEW, the newest wrestling company out there. I'm a huge fan of AEW. Kind of a cross fan now of Jacksonville Jaguars. But Jacksonville's not good. But they have Nick Foles. Are we getting the Nick Foles of old when he was great in Philadelphia? Are we getting the Nick Foles when he was in St. Louis? Are we getting the Nick Foles that was Super Bowl winning in Philadelphia a couple years ago? Which Nick Foles are we getting? If we get the latter, Jacksonville might do this. But we have Patrick Mahomes in year 2. With Tyreek Hill. I mean, they got LaShawn McCoy now. They just picked him up recently. The Chiefs have so many weapons. Can't go against them. I got the Chiefs winning, covering the 4, over on the 52. Because I think Patrick Mahomes is going to put some points up this year. Next up, we have the Baltimore Ravens versus the Miami Dolphins. Last time these two teams met, Baltimore won 40-0. That was with a Joe Flacco Baltimore, not Lamar Jackson. Miami, is that a dumpster fire? I mean, what is going on in Miami? I don't think they're going to be good this year. So Baltimore's favored by 6.5. I got them winning, covering under on 37.5. Next up, Cincinnati Bengals versus Seattle Seahawks. Seattle just picked up Giovanni Clowney. How better is that defense going to be now? Seattle's always been ahead of great defense. So you know what? They picked up Clowney. I got them winning. I'm going to have them cover the 9.5 and under on the 44. Next up, the San Francisco 49ers versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Jimmy G, is he for real? Is he fake? What do we got here? You know what? He had a great 3 games a couple years ago for New England when Brady was hurt. He had having a great season last year before he tore his ACL. Is he completely healthy from that ACL? Is he back? I'm going to pick. I got the 49ers. It's pretty much a pick-em game on most of the sites I looked at. One side had Tampa Bay by 1. I'll give the 1 to San Fran. I got them winning, covering, and under on the 50. Next up, we have the New York Football Giants versus the Dallas Cowboys. Last year in New York, Dallas won 36-35. in Dallas. Dallas won 20-13. They now won 3 straight versus the Giants. No Ezekiel Elliott. Do they need him to beat New York? I don't think so. But obviously he may not be there at all. But Jerry, you built a $2 billion stadium. Give the dude a few $100 million and call it good. He wants to be the highest paid running back. Okay, what's the problem? You got the money, just do it. As for the Giants, Eli's time in New York done? I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of, for Eli, it's going to be the same kind of it was when he came in the league. Kurt Warner was a starter. Kurt played about half the year. Eli took over. Boom. I think that's going to happen this year. I think by game 5, 6, Eli will be out. The kid will be in. And Eli will go on to Indianapolis, Denver, maybe somewhere else. Do the same thing that Kurt did. I'm hoping. I think Eli's still a valuable asset, but 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback. Come on. Who wouldn't want him? I do have Dallas winning. Got them covering the 7 and under on the 45.5. Next up, we have the Detroit Lions versus the Arizona Cardinals. So they had a number 1 draft pick last year. They traded him to draft another quarterback number 1 this year. So does that mean that they trade Kyler Murray to draft Tui next year? How sick would that be that they did 3 years in a row? Josh Rosen, Kyler Murray, and then Tui Tagovailoa or Trevor Lawrence, one of the two. Detroit is favored by 2.5. I so much want to see Kyler Murray succeed. Given the 2.5 to Arizona, I got them winning, covering, and under on the 47. Next up, we have the AFC Championship game preview. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the New England Patriots. Last December, these two teams met. Pittsburgh won 17-10. The time before that they met was January of 17, where New England won 36-17. New England is favored by 5.5. With 51 points. I got the Patriots winning. I have Pittsburgh covering the 5.5. It's going to be a field goal game, I feel. Taking under on the 51. We have two games on Monday night. We have the Houston Texans versus the New Orleans Saints. Saints favored by a touchdown. How is Houston's defense going to? I know they got J.J. Watt, but can everybody double team him? And is New Orleans going to do something this year? I mean, hey, they've kind of been right there all of these years. We'll see what happens. New Orleans is favored by 7. I got the Saints winning. I got Houston covering the 7. And I'm taking under on 53. And our final game out of the AFC West, we have the Denver Broncos versus the Oakland Raiders. They split their season series last year, 1-1. The home team won. We're in Oakland for the last time for Denver. Next year they're in Vegas. Again, it's kind of another pick'em game. We have Oakland by 1. Will the diva known as Antonio Brown be up to snuff? Is he going to be a slacker? Is he going to be a diva? I know his whole helmet issue he's had. The Raiders look like they can be good, but they also look like they can be a dumpster fire. It can go either way. They have the John Gruden, they have David Carr, they have Antonio Brown. It just looks like that can just blow up and just be just a dumpster fire. But it looks like they can also go out there and they can put some points on the board and win some games. Taking the Raiders, I'll give them the 1. Have them cover and under on the 43. All right. So that is week 1 of the NFL football season. Stay tuned to Rubber Sports Show for week 2 NCAA and week 13. I keep getting confused on college, on the Canadian Football League. So week 13 is next. Is that right? It's messing me up in my ears. Okay. So stay tuned to the Waterford Sports Show this week for NCAA Week 2, Week 13 of CFL. As always, thanks for watching the Waterford Sports Show. Don't just have a great day. Have a spiffy day. Waterford Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.